I'm confessing that I love you. Tell me, do you love me too? I'm confessing that I need you. Honest, I do need you every hour. In your eyes I read such strange things, but your lips deny their truth. Will your answer really change things? You're making me blue. I'm afraid someday you'll leave me, saying, can't we still be friends? If you go, you know you'll grieve me. All my life on you depends. Baby, am I guessing that you love me? Dreaming dreams of you in vain. I'm confessing that I need you over again. I'm confessing that I love you. Tell me, do you love me too? I'm confessing that I need you. Honest, I do need you every hour. In your eyes I read such strange things, but your lips deny their truth. Will your answer really change things? You're making me blue. I'm afraid someday you'll leave me, saying, can't we still be friends? When you go, you know you'll grieve me. All my life on you depends, baby. Am I guessing that you love me? Dreaming dreams of you in vain. I'm confessing that I need you over again.
Hey, Holly.
My heart is sad and lonely. For you I sigh, for you, dear, only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing, wondering why it's me you're wronging. I swear that I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, how you'd turn away romance. Are you pretending it feels like the ending? Unless I could have one more chance to prove, dear, my life a wreck you're making. You see me here ripe for the taking. I'll surrender completely. I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, how you'd turn away romance. Are you pretending it feels like the ending? Unless I could have one more chance to prove, dear, my life a wreck you're making. You see me here ripe for the taking. I'll surrender completely. I'm all for you, body and soul.
For some reason, I can't see the chat. I don't know what's going on with that. Hey, Randy. How's fusioning going? Asheville, that's gonna be fun, Michael. Oh, now I can see some chats. Maybe there just wasn't a chat.
In my solitude, you haunt me with memories of days gone by. In my solitude, you haunt me with reveries that never die. I sit in my chair, filled with despair. There's no one can be so sad. With gloom everywhere, I sit and I stare. I know I will soon go mad. In my solitude, I pray. Dear Lord above, send back my love.
Gotta let my dad back in.
In my solitude, you haunt me with my solitude, you taunt me with memories that never die. Alone in my chair, filled with despair, there's no one can be so sad. With gloom everywhere, I sit and I stare. I know I will soon go mad. In my solitude, I pray. Dear Lord above, send back my love.
Let's see. Peter, any advice on soloing with chords? Yeah. You got to build a vocabulary that's that you could use in the same way that you would use lines. So think about soloing on one string. All right? So, and you just need to map out a scale. So let's map out. Now again, you need a different one for every chord you're trying to express in the music. So that song I just played had a G major 7. That's the A section, just had 3 chords. It had it was just a 1, 2, 5, 1. Right? It was G. Think about the cowboy chords. It's in the key of G. It went G, A minor, D7, G. Right?
In my solitude, you haunt me with reveries of days gone by.
1, 2, 5, 1. So what I need to do is my whole vocabulary could be expressed with a G major scale. But I need to have 2 types of G major scales as I harmonize, because when I'm playing on the G, I need a kind of G major scale that sounds like G. Now, that can be accomplished by taking the notes of G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic and making chords out of them that you can grab in each position. So really eliminating the C notes and eliminating the F sharps from the G major scale. So a G major scale without a C and an F sharp, a 4 and a 7 is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, root. Now check this out. If I just harmonize all the notes of G major scale using those structures, now I have vocabulary that sounds like this. To grab the root on top, second on top, right? Here's the third on top, fourth on top, fifth on top, 6 on top, 7 on top. But now I can move melodies, right? That go like. I can always do half-step things into them. So you can move a little like. Right? So I can take these little right, do all that on that first chord. Now as I move to the second chord, A minor, it's A Dorian. Still the same notes, but those structures are not going to sound like they're relevant to that A, and especially not for that D. So I need to have a different sort of structure to put underneath. Now, what you could do is take the 7th chord inside the G major scale, meaning F sharp half diminished, and work on putting inversions of that with that G major scale on top. So now that works on A minor and D. So for the span of time I'm playing on the one chord, I can move melodies that sound like and then it goes to the two chord. So now, right? So that's one way to chord solo and have the whole guitar available. So I can like
In my solitude, you haunt me with reveries of days gone by.
right? Now I can. That's good for Dorian and Mixolydian. But let's say I want to play something else on that 5 chord, right? So now I have vocabulary for Ionian, which is a harmonized major pentatonic scale. On the 2 chord, I'm gonna voice lead the top of a G major scale with inversions of like either an A minor 6 or F sharp half diminished, they're the same thing. And then for my 5 chord, I can do something else. So for the 5 chord, here's a trick. This is to get a Mixolydian flat 2, flat 6 sound, right? So I'm gonna take D7, flat 9, like a 7 flat 9, which is this scale, right? Or this shape, right? The F sharp diminished with D in the root gives you that sound. Now with diminished chords, you know that they invert symmetrically every 3 frets, right? But that just gives you 4 notes on top, right? It gives you F sharp, A, C, and E flat. Here's the thing. Now you can work out the G harmonic minor scale on top with those shapes. So F sharp, G, right? A, B flat, oh sorry. Yeah, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, and then you're back on top. Now voice led throughout the whole thing, right? Going from the 1 chord to the 2 chord. And now this guy. And resolving. And that's pretty much what Django does. Now let's say I don't want that sound. I want a different sound. Let's say I want an altered sound, right? So to get altered, you're going to have to do something else because it doesn't have that a diminished structure in it, right? So that's where people use things like triad pairs. There's a whole bunch of ways you could do that, but I don't know. Am I talking a little bit over your head? Let's pretend like I'm not. So let's say I want D altered, right? D altered is E flat melodic minor. By the drop in viewers, I'm guessing I'm speaking Chinese, but let's say fuck it and do it anyway. So a good way to get an altered sound is now I'm looking into E flat melodic minor. So you're gonna have to have 2 types of chords you're gonna move around. Now melodic minor is really interesting because it works in pairs of chords. You get a 4 and a 5 in the key that are both dominant, and you get a 6 and a 7 in the key that are both minor 7 flat 5. So we're going to zone in on the minor 7 flat 5s. So you're going to have to locate, to get a D altered sound, a C minor 7 flat 5 and a D minor 7 flat 5, right? And work with their inversions. That's the best way to do that. So D half diminished looks like this, and C half diminished looks like this, right? So, and then you're gonna have to map out an E flat melodic minor, so it's gonna look like. That's the first couple. So I'm going from this inversion of C minor 7 flat 5, D minor 7 flat 5, then C minor 7. Same thing here, then same thing here. So to nap D root, right? Now check out those chords going from the 1 chord, 1. We're still just talking about that song Solitude. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Now the 2 chord, right? Right? So it's a nice sound. A little bit outside. So. Anyway, experiment with that. Cool. Anyways.
Never treats me sweet and gentle the way she should. I got it bad, and that ain't good. My old heart is sentimental, not made of wood. I got it bad, and that ain't good. But when the weekend's over and Monday's on my mind, I end up where I start out crying my heart out. Doesn't love me like I love her, nobody could. I got it bad, and that ain't good. Treats me sweet and gentle the way she should. I got it bad, and that ain't good. My old heart is sentimental, not made of wood. I got it bad, and that ain't good. where I start out crying my heart out. Doesn't love me like I love her. Nobody could. I got it bad, and that ain't good.
Which songs would you suggest for somebody new to jazz to study first? I would say don't worry about it as long as you study something, and always start, regardless of genre, with the things you want to play. If you're like, which songs should I want to play, then maybe you don't like jazz very much, or not as much. You know what I mean? It's you're a jazz gold digger. You just want the skills of jazz. So immerse yourself, find some real love for it, and then through that love, figure out what songs you want to play, because you need to play the songs you want to play. And you can't choose the songs you want to play if you don't love some songs. And if you love those songs, those are the ones you should play. They all have the same vocabulary, the same language. And if you really love it, you'll get to everything eventually. So just start with what's interesting to you. If you like Louis Armstrong, Al Fitzgerald, there you go. If you like Giant Steps, start there. You know, whatever it is that you want to play is what you need to study, or the whole process is going to be broken. You know what I mean? You just got to do what's interesting to you. So, for me, you know, it was like a lot of gypsy jazz tunes and the instrumentals, and then I got interested more in the lyrical side and spent a long time listening. And you know, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but people ask me, like, you know, about memory and about how to remember lyrics. And honestly, like, listen to a song 100 times on repeat and I challenge you to not remember 32 bars of lyrics. It's impossible, but I just spent the time listening to the stuff that I really liked. It wasn't study, not like in a nerdy classroom way with like a notebook, the way that you study in school. I never did that with anything. You know, I spent time checking things out, trying to play them, you know. Like academic learning is a very big inhibitor because of growth in music, because it imposes this nerd type of study onto the way you actually study music, which is just doing on your instrument and realizing the language underneath it, you know. But it's very little, it has very little to do with note taking. What do you think about yourself as a musician? What do you mean? You mean like, do I think I'm good at music? I don't understand the question. So, like, in terms of my quality as a musician? I think I'm the nicest. Best way to approach gypsy jazz soloing? I would say probably, learn rest stroke technique. That's something a lot of people who are not the brightest are going to tell you that that's not so important. As long as you get the sound, they are lying. That is the sound. So figure out how to float your wrist and how to use this kind of motion mechanics of putting out the match, very different than electric soloing. And past that, how to navigate harmony has to do, I think modes are the best perspective you can have on a fretboard. It's the biggest opinion about yourself. Do you think you are good enough? Good enough for what? What am I supposed to do? But I would say chord tones, after you can see modes, seeing chord tones, seeing and understanding what people play over what. You know, if you see an A minor, realizing that you don't solo on it using a blues scale, and you also don't solo on it just using an A minor arpeggio, like that. You use a lot of that A minor 6 sound. Map out some of those sounds in gypsy jazz that you got to find what you want to play on the chords, right? You got to find what Django's doing, what people are doing, and come up with an either standard or internal language to execute those sounds on the chords. When you see an A minor 6, you want to be able to shoot a line that has that sound and understand what's in it, right? That's A minor triad with an F sharp, right? A minor 6. Then understanding how to navigate around that structure, not just playing it up and down and adding chromatics. Then understanding the kind of articulations they use, the wide vibrato, right? The upwards vibrato, right? The trills. So putting it together that way. Whatever music do you play or want to play? I mean, I do something, you know, what I do Marbin, that's my gig. I play fusion, gypsy jazz. I just put out one album. I waited for years till I got to a place where I felt like I had something worthwhile to record. You know, I think this is like 8 years into playing gypsy jazz. And when I felt like I was at a level where I could listen to myself playing and I didn't cringe, I put out an album with Fusion. I've been feeling like that for over a decade. And, you know, this is the thing about having your own band and writing your own music. You don't just design the playing, you design the environment, right? It's so if playing jazz standards, you're using a standard environment that's enabling people listening, gives them the ability to compare. You juxtapose you to Coltrane and Parker. In Marbin, we don't do that. We design the environment where we can thrive. And I think that's, you know, when you take Weather Report or something like that, and you ask yourself, is Wayne Shorter in Weather Report better than Charlie Parker? It's almost like a silly question because it's like the music the environment has nothing to do with each other. So I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm extremely good at doing what I do. Thanks for the answer. That guitar sounds great. So sweet. Thank you. I bought the guitar of Django Reinhardt's great-grandson from Germany, Nando Reinhardt, and it's coming to me in the mail in 2 weeks. I'm very excited about that. It's a Dora guitar, but this one's great too. This one's made by Marine, which is like Marbin without a B. Thank you so much, Muntasir. How did you practice fast lines producing good volume out of a Selmer guitar? I can go pretty fast after a year of practice, rest stroke, etc., but I'm not as loud as I am when I really dig in slow for it. So, You know, not that I'm a singer, but I did study, I did take some vocal lessons. And in the beginning of vocal lessons, and this ties back to picking, in the beginning of vocal lessons, I felt like my problem was that the high registers in my voice weren't as full as my low registers, right? So when I would sing a song like,
I hear the train a-comin', it's rollin' round the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when.
so that I could really get some notes that I felt internally. It felt like that, like my chest voice was very full and very big. And whenever I'd get up to even like things in that same octave, but kind of at the upper end of it, I would lose all connection to that sound. And that's physiological, meaning there's nothing you could really do about that other than lighting up your bottom. So back to the context of picking, there's a kind of volume you can get playing slowly with rest stroke that might feel satisfying, but you're actually missing the sound. You're playing too snappy. So it's about lighting up, but still finding the middle, right? So if you think about dynamics, it's going from 1 to 10. It's about getting the fast stuff to get towards 5 from 1, and the slow stuff to get from 10 to 5. So you're always searching for that place where you can play with a full, nice sound. And you're never going to produce the kind of volume you want. And right now we're in a period of time where people are dynamically confused because, first of all, they play with backing tracks all the time, to where you're controlling the volume of the backing track. It's played the way it's played. And sometimes the people playing on the backing tracks are playing too loud and then mixing themselves down. And when you play with people, it's all amplified. But when you're playing acoustically, you're always mixing. So when I play behind a guitar player, right, I'm always trying to find a dynamic level that's about here. Because I want him to be comfortable to put a line over me without having to go. If you're there, you're going to lock up. You're never going to find that place where you're playing really fast. So it's more like finding that place with your soloing where what we really hear is that it's even, right? You're looking for even, not for loud necessarily, right? Or loud enough to get the sound. It's about getting a good sound, right? So ask yourself what that is. Just play a line. Is this a good sound, or is this, right? That's too extreme. So you gotta find that place where you're making that guitar sound like itself. A big part of it too is not muting at all. There's zero left or right hand muting in gypsy jazz. You want the ambient sound of the sympathetic vibration of the string. So when you go, hear that soup? Right? It's like reverb. That thing. There's a mosquito here. I'm going to kill this motherfucker. Got him. I did get him. That's amazing. Anyways. I think the biggest problem for the people who have with gypsy jazz, especially people who are used to playing with an amp, is that they're trying to mute with their left hand. They're almost like trying to chase themselves and extinguish the sound. There's no muting. You just let everything ring behind you. And try to make as little contact as you can with this hand. Sometimes when I lock up, I just touch here, and that's not good. I always try to not do that. All right, so.
So why not take all of me?
Yourself down. I think the biggest thing to get over psychologically is that we just assume that our ears are basically, thanks Mark, are that where you are, even if you have a person like 2 feet away from you, you're an island sonically. And when you're playing with people in the same room, you gotta tell yourself, I'm mixing the same record, meaning where they're sitting, what they're hearing is the same thing you're hearing. Even if it's not, you gotta assume it is, because this is all you got. You just got your ears. So if they're soloing, you got to mix. You're putting yourself underneath them, right? So if there's a melody above that goes, you gotta put yourself. Riding right on top of it, but you definitely don't want to put it where it's buried. Right? That's, even though you're excited, it's not a good way to use that excited energy.
Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Haven't felt like this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I dreamed about you, how lonely and how sad I've been without you. Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. I haven't felt like this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I've dreamed about you, how lonely and how sad I've been without you. So kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time.
Sometimes I get into the trouble when phrasing. I tend to land on root notes most of the time when finish a phrase. How do you get out of that habit? Well, landing on roots has to do with grabbing onto the harmony for dear life, right? Because the root just tells the ear that you're safe. So it's kind of like it's telling you that you don't know the mode or the substitution you're trying to apply to the chord well enough to feel comfortable landing on some other areas of it. A good thing to do to start practicing is to maybe try to play some substitutions instead of modes that don't have the root, and then you don't have that option, right? Just for shits and giggles. So for example, let's say I'm going for a Wes Montgomery sound, right? And I'm playing on an A7. So I'm in a blues, right? And this is my one chord, this A7. So what most people would play on this would be maybe some sort of major pentatonic or minor pentatonic. Reverb on the mic might be too rich. All right, let me kill some of it. That is a lot. Here. Let me know if this is any better. Right now, kiss me once and kiss me twice. Right? Maybe that worked. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So take, let's say, I'm trying to play on that A7. So now let's play, that A7 is the 5 chord in the key of D. The way substitutions work and extensions is I take the chord tones other than the root of the chord of that A7 and I build chords from them. So from the third, I get this C sharp half diminished, no root, right? So C sharp half diminished, I mean, it gives me an A9 without a root. So let's say this is the chord I'm playing on. Now what I'm playing. So map out that arpeggio of that chord in many areas, right? So this is a C sharp half diminished. Another way to think about C sharp diminished is E minor 6. Right? So now there's no A in that. So I gotta start seeing that in relation to A7. So, to get that gypsy sound. Right? That's a substitution Django used all the time for dominant chords. So position, next position, next position, next position, and then all those, applying all those licks, it's just adding chromatics to it. Right, that sound. So that's a Django sound. That's one substitution. Here's a different substitution. If I'm going for a Wes Montgomery sound. He doesn't really he uses that one too, but the one he really likes is going to the flat 7 of A7 and applying a G major 7, the 4 chord of the key of D, right? That was the 7 chord in the key of D. For those of you who don't know, the key of D is D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major 7, A7, which is the chord we're talking about, and B minor 7. So Wes Montgomery really does a lot of using the E minor 7, the 2 chord in the key, right, and the 4 chord of the key over that A7, that sound. So let's say I'm playing a blues, right? That sound, or something like, sound, right? But no A's in there, right? That G major 7 doesn't have an A. It has a G, a B, a D, and an F sharp, right? So I can't land on the root if I use that on there. Right? Those West licks. Sound on the 4 chord of a blues, I need to play C major 7. If you wanted to get a classical music sound with those same chords, how would you do that? I have a hard time hearing how to give something a classical sound. Well, classical music has to do with playing different more predictable contours than jazz. They're not spontaneous, right? So and also playing the reverb makes it sound so good. Thanks. Also playing harmonic, like just tonal cadences, right? Mixolydian resolving to major and Mixolydian flat 2, flat 6 resolving to minor. So if you're playing, let's say, in the key of C, really focusing on that G7 to C. Lots of resolving with sus, like cadences they use a lot in classical music is one diminished one, right? So like if you have like a 5, Mozart does that all the time. Right? Oh, wow, I can actually hear it sitting here. Yeah, it's not really a mystery. They just use these tools, right? You just got to understand what they use. Sequences are certainly a big part of it, right? Beethoven has a lot of like those kind of just arpeggios. All right. Ah, Danny, so cool having random figures moving in and out behind you. Let's see. Any thoughts on the Dave Raskin and Johnny Mercer tune from 1944, Laura? Well, first of all, thank you for the super chat. Yeah.
Laura is the face in the misty light, footsteps that you hear down the hall, the laugh that floats on the summer night that you can never quite recall. Then you see Laura on a train that is passing through. Her eyes, how familiar they seem. She gave your very first kiss to you. That was Laura, but she's only a dream.
It's a nice. So it's a nice progression. Those 2 5-1s that go from like a 2 chord with a 9 in the melody to a 5 chord with a flat 6 in the melody to a 1 chord with a 9 in the melody. That's a really nice move, and that's really built on that and a few keys. And that's something I think everybody basically takes from this tune and runs with, right? So you can always apply that to 2-5-1s everywhere. And that's something you always. Thank you, Lucas. And the sound of that is going Dorian, Lydian dominant, which is really altered. It's playing altered in general. It's like, a lot of people won't call it altered because the melody note is a flat 13, and some other modes have the flat 13. But the bass note, right? It's the fact that you can go and play, like if you're in C, play a D minor, D flat, C. So it's not just this voice moving, it's the bottom too. That's the sound. So you got a 9 on the melody, but you have that sharp 11 in the bass. So really being able to play two major 2-5-1s with altered on the 5 chord is the sound. Right, and that's the beauty here. So, and also in the melody it goes like, it's very out. It's like that flat 13, natural 13, back to flat 13, and then Johnny Mercer in general is just a great melody writer. He has Emily.
Emily, 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 as the murmuring sound of spring, of da-da-da, crystal bells, da-da-da, and the laughter of children in play.
It's just great melodies. Definitely, his tunes are always they always have a harmonic twist and nice modulations everywhere. So these people, it's kind of like the second generation of American songwriters. They're already kind of sick of the very standard progressions, and they were looking, a little bit more. It's not like Irving Berlin and Gershwin, Not that those guys are great too, but these guys employ much more sophisticated harmony, a lot more 2/5s and modulation. It's just a lot of modulations in those songs. Like, it's, what key is that song in? I don't even know. It starts in 2-5-1 to E, goes to D5-2-5-1 to D, 2-5-1 to C, and then like a 2-5-1 to E. Right? So it's just modulating the whole time. And then like minor 2-5 to A minor that doesn't resolve, goes to F sharp, B7, E7, then finally it resolves to A. So weird harmony, but very cool. Like I dig it a lot. That's my baritone, the black guitar. It's a tele baritone, you're correct.
The evening breeze embrace the trees tenderly. The trembling trees caress the breeze tenderly. Then you and I came wandering by and lost in a silent breathlessly. Your arms opened wide and closed me inside. You took my lips, you took my heart so breathlessly. The shore was kissed by sea and mist tenderly. I can't forget how two hearts met breathlessly. Your arms opened wide and closed me inside. You took my lips, you took my heart so tenderly.
My cover of a Taylor Swift tune. She wears flip-flops, I wear high heels. She's on the bleachers, I'm begging the prom king. I don't know. Thanks, Michael. Desert Island albums. I would actually just bring some food, water, maybe a Swiss Army knife, no records. I thought that was a pretty convincing cover. I don't know. Francis, how you doing? One day.
The very thought of you, and I forget to do the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. I'm living in a kind of daydream. I'm happy as a king, and foolish though it may seem to me, that's everything. The mere moments go till I am here with you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes in the skies above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you, my love. The mere idea of you, the longing here for you. You'll never know how slow the moments go till I am near to you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes in the skies above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you, my love.
I'm good, Francis. Just singing tunes. Parents are in town. Very happy. Very happy indeed. You know, those moments in life where you have that relative calmness and you think it's always going to be that way and you know it isn't and you just wish it stayed for a while. That's where I'm at. It'll all get messed up soon. I know that from experience. But for now, it's good. Thanks, Basil.
Take your coat and take your hat. Leave your worries by the doorstep. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear the pitter pat? That unhappy tune is your step. Life can be complete on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over, and if I never make a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. pitter pat, that unhappy tune in your step. Life can be complete on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over, and if I never make a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Roll dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Fly me to the moon and let me swing upon the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter or Mars. In other words, take my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I care for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Oh man, I don't remember Cry Me a River. How does it go?
Now you say you're lonely. You cried the whole night through. You can cry me a river, cry me me a river. I cried a river over you. Now you say you love me. Sorry for being so untrue. You can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
I don't remember where it goes.
You nearly drove me out of my mind without ever shedding a tear. I remember all that you said. You told me love was too severe. You told me you were three of me, and now you say you love me. Well, just to prove that's true, why don't you cry me a river? Cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
Totally don't remember that song. Sorry. The bridge, I don't remember where it goes. I remember all that you said. Sorry. Yeah. Well, you start hearing the harmony, but it's like for the section. But with songs that I never really knew, that just kind of like I never really learned that song, but or played it. But I know, like, you know, the Ella Fitzgerald version of it and Diana Krall version of it. So I heard it a billion times, and the lyrics get stuck in my brain. You know, it's very rare that I sit there and make myself learn lyrics. I just listen to the songs I like a lot, and then they just lodge themselves in there, and it's just finding the notes. But yeah, obviously that was far from perfect, right?
What's new? How is the world treating you? You haven't changed a bit. Lovely as ever, I must admit. What's new? How did that romance come through? We haven't met since then. Gee, but it's good to see you again. What's new? Probably I'm boring you, but seeing you is grand, and you were sweet to offer your hand. I understand, I do. Probably I'm boring you. Of course you couldn't know. I haven't changed, I still love you so. sweet to offer your hand. I understand, I do. Pardon me asking what's new. Of course you couldn't know. I haven't changed, I still love you so.
Peter, Eric was just fucking with you. Eric knows better. Hey Maggie, how you doing? I actually have a song called Maggie. It's like this.
Maggie, if you took one last look at my heart, you'd be surprised, but it's still tearing apart. I'll never forget you, but I'm gonna let you slip away, 'cause you're better off with him than with me. Maggie, in a way it's okay to let go. We had our day, and by now the both of us know. Beneath all the kissing, there was something missing, and it's clear you're better off with him. The last thing you said, leaving my bed, was I didn't think you would mind, but I do. It hurts me to know that I couldn't show you the love you were hoping to find. Maggie, if ever you need one last kiss, come by again and our lips could reminisce. I'll be thinking of you. In my way I love you, but it's clear you're better off with him. The last thing you said, leaving my bed, was I didn't think you would mind, but I do. Hurts me to know that I couldn't show you the love you were hoping to find. Maggie, if ever you need one last kiss, come by again and our lips could reminisce. I'll be thinking of you. In my way I love you, but it's clear you're better off with him.
Give me electric fusion or give me death. Death.
drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall. The fallen leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow